Please welcome co-director Chris Buck and effects supervisor Erin Ramos. How did you guys like the movie? Well, I think you liked it. Victoria from Roosevelt School wants to know what inspired you to make Frozen, and who's your favorite character?
Oh, wow. So the very first Frozen was inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's The Snow Queen, the book. Love the book. And then, of course, Frozen 2 was inspired by Frozen 1, and we wanted to tell more of the story. We felt like there was a lot more to do, so that's what we did with this. My favorite character, it's hard to say because they're like my kids. It's hard to pick one. But I would say probably from the reaction today, probably my favorite character is Olaf.
Erin, what's your favorite character?
My favorite character is Samantha. I think she's the best part of the movie.
Lucas from Roosevelt School wants to know, Erin, how do you make the eyes and make it look like it is shooting out of her hands?
Oh man, yeah. So we actually, as effects people, we're the ones who do all the magic and all the water, all the fire and stuff. So when also shooting ice out of our hands, we work really closely with the character animators to make sure that we know where our hand is in space. And then, we make these cool particle systems. So what you see at first are these little dots that come out of our hands. And then we kind of add cool swirlies because Elsa has a really specific type of magic. And so when you know that, her magic looks way different from other Disney characters' magic, right? So so we create these particles and then we kind of turn them into ice, and then we work with a lighting team to make it look like, it's shiny. And then we give it the color that kind of matches with Elsa's magic, and add all the smoke and volumetrics. But yeah, unfortunately, we can't shoot ice out of our hands in real life, so we don't have any reference for that. So we've all got to make it up in our heads and work with the production designers to make sure that it all looks super cool.
Jackson from the Elwood School wants to know, how many people did it take to create the movie? Chris?
Oh, wow. Jackson, are you here? Yeah, okay. Hundreds. I mean, as you can tell, it's still going on. All those names are still going on behind us. So I would, on this one, probably between 400 and 500 people.
A lot of people.
It's a lot.
And Nicholas from Roosevelt School wants to know, Erin, is it difficult to make special effects and sounds in movies?
Yeah, you know what? It's challenging, but it's also really fun. And we're doing things that a lot of things that we did in this movie are things that you might see in real life, like big oceans and big waves. And the cool part about being an effects animator is that we can go to places like the ocean to see reference of how these waves move and what kinds of things we want. Where should I stand so that it doesn't feedback? I'll stand right here. So yeah, I mean sometimes we light things on fire to see how fire moves. So that's kind of I can say that, right? We light things on fire under the supervision of some very responsible adults
and the fire department.
And the fire department. So, it's all about observing nature and observing what's around you to create these things on screen, and then you kind of add some of your artistry to it. So yeah, it can be difficult, it's challenging, but it's also a ton of fun. I love what I do.
Chris, Madison from Roosevelt School wants to know, how long did it take for Jeff Durham, the editor of the movie, to edit the whole movie? And P.S., she wants to tell you, it's the best movie I've ever seen.
Wow. Thank you, Madison. This is Jeff Drawheim is the editor. He's the picture editor, and he works with us from the very beginning. He's on it even when we start just thinking about what the ideas are going to be. So this one took about 3 years of production, a little bit of pre-production, but 3 years. So he's been working on this for about 3 years, and he takes it all the way up to the very, very end until we finish it. And we finished it just late October before it came out in November. So he's on it a long time.
Fernanda from Cleveland School has a very sophisticated question. We use graphic organizers when we make our stories. Do the people that make the graphics, Erin, also write words? How does that work?
We write, sure.
Did that just go over your head?
Yeah, that went totally over my head. Sorry.
Okay.
So wait, yeah.
That's all yours, Erin.
Yeah, so, I guess there is a lot of communication that we need to do to make sure that we make this movie in a way that's efficient. So we have teams of people to help organize everything, and we use things like spreadsheets. We have our own software that we use to kind of track how shots move through production. So yeah, it's a combination of a lot of different documents, a lot of words that are being communicated to each other to make sure that we finish this movie on time, and so that we can get things in front of Chris. And whenever Chris has notes for us, we need to make sure we write them down and they're stored somewhere so that we remember what's said during the reviews, and so that we can, when we show him again, that it's what he likes. So
Kalia from Elmwood School wants Chris to answer, in which ways did you choose the plot of Frozen 2, considering Frozen, the original, was released 6 years ago, and the previous viewers are now 6 years older?
That is a great question. We did take that into consideration, that our... Oh, sorry. Hold on. There's one more thing.
something's happening.
One more surprise.
So, Kalia's question.
Okay.
In which way did you choose the plot?
So, well, what we did, our audience was growing up, and we thought that we would let the story grow up a little bit. Our characters are all growing up. They're getting a little bit older, and so we played with that theme of people getting older, and things are changing. Olaf even is getting a little bit older, sings a song about when I'm older that everything will make sense. And you know what, guys? Things don't really make much sense when you get older, but you'll see. You'll find out. So, yeah.
Erin, Katie from Elmwood School wants to know, what was your favorite scene to make?
Oh my gosh, my favorite scene to make. My favorite scene to make was probably the part where Elsa's running across the dark sea, and she's trying to get over these waves, and she can't. There's a couple times when the waves kind of crash over her. She's got to start over again. But what I love about that sequence is that she keeps trying, right? And so, she gets back out there, and she makes the ice bridge, and then the ice bridge breaks. Just technically, that was such a huge challenge to do for our department. But I just loved seeing Elsa just getting out there and being an action hero for a little bit, and and then she finds the water knock, and that whole sequence is incredible. It's so pretty, and but yeah, I love that sequence.
The horse it's a water horse, but it's actually called a knock, N-O-K-K, and that's from Scandinavian legend.
Juan S. from 5th grade Cleveland School wants to know, Chris, how closely does a director supervise the creation of the storyboards?
Very closely. We are in on it every day. We work with the writer. The writer happened to be my co-director, Jennifer Lee, so that was easy. But yeah, we are there with the storyboard artists, talking about what the scene could be, and then they show us all their ideas of what they are excited about. And then we work. We'll have changes with things, and we're always trying to make the scene as exciting or as funny or as dramatic as possible. So we're always pushing each other.
And Aaron, Max from 5th grade Elmwood School wants to know, what was your favorite part of the process about seeing the movie come together?
I love, because we get the storyboards, after Chris approves them, then they kind of come to us and we sort of figure out how we're going to make this. And just watching these drawings slowly come to life and watching Elsa slowly get animated and she's becoming a full character. Sometimes I forget that she's not real because, you see her on screen and she's acting and then you talk about her like she's a real person. And, just watching just everything get better, slowly just get better and better and better is pretty amazing. And then actually what's really exciting is when this movie comes out and actually getting to share with you guys, because this is top secret for us for a few years. So we can't talk about it with anybody outside the studio. We've heard these songs over and over and they're stuck in my head and I can't sing them out loud. And so to be here and hear all you guys singing these songs, that is the best part of making these movies.
You guys singing with Into the Unknown at the end was amazing. You should give yourselves a round of applause for that. That was incredible. Thank you.
Camilla, 5th grade Buena Vista, who came up with the name Olaf?
I think it was early on. I was part of the team that kind of came up with the name Olaf, and we were just looking up Scandinavian names. And sometimes we went to baby name books just to see what names would be fun. And Olaf was very easy, very simple Scandinavian name. Sometimes Scandinavian names can be very difficult and a lot of syllables, but Olaf was very easy. So that was the reason.
And a follow-up question, Rizal from 5th grade Buena Vista. Who decided to make Olaf have more of a part in this movie?
Well, Olaf, because in the first movie, we don't meet him until almost halfway through because Anna doesn't make it up to the mountain until a little bit later. But this time you get Olaf from the very beginning, he's there. So it really was just a matter of the fact that we had already met Olaf and we got to have him from the beginning of the movie and we got to really play with him the whole way through.
And Aaron, Zach, 5th grade Buena Vista. How many frames were in this movie?
Oh man, let's do some math here. All right, so a movie's 24 frames per second.
Maybe they don't understand. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's right. We know movies are 24 frames per second, and so some movies are more, some movies are more, but usually it's 24. And so our movie is 24 frames per second, and so there's 60 seconds in a minute, and this movie's how many minutes, Chris?
It's about, 90 minutes?
90 minutes. So it's 90 times 60 times 24, which
Anyone?
That's how many frames.
Anyone?
Yeah. Who knows the answer? A million.
Close.
That's pretty close. Sure. Sure.
Taylor of 5th grade Buena Vista School wants to know, were there any ideas not included in the movie?
There are a few songs that we didn't put in the movie, and they're going to be released pretty soon, or I think they may already be released on like a CD that you can find. So several songs didn't make it. There was a song that there was one song that Olaf sang called "Unmeltable Me," which was very cute, and you guys could probably see that, find that online somewhere. Or Anna and Christoph sing a song about "Gonna Get This Right," and that was a really fun duet about them getting proposed. Did you guys like the fact that they finally are engaged, Anna and Elsa? Yes.
Well, Minnie B from Roosevelt School, 4th grade, she says, in Frozen 2, Christoph proposes to Anna, but when is their wedding?
Oh. That's a good question.
You hear Frozen 3? Do you guys want to see a Frozen 3?
Okay. All right. We'll get to work on that.
The pressure is on.
It's really on.
Well, everybody, let's give a warm thank you to Aaron and to Chris.
I want to thank all of you before we go. All of you, you guys are the best audience. We've seen this with many audiences around the world. You guys are the best one, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're the best.
Thanks, guys.